Okay, hey honey buns, welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here ever, welcome for the first time. I'm Mila Vanderbilt and I'm here with another GTA video, kind of a tutorial, because the one question that I get overloaded with every time I go live on TikTok, sometimes over on Twitch, and some of the questions that are here in the comments is how do I get started playing GTA roleplay? Where do I go? What servers? So I figured I would start just another little kind of tutorial series. One, I'm going to show you in this video exactly how to get started with GTA roleplay, what you need to download, how to do it, and then how to find servers. I'm going to start gradually just creating different characters in different cities. And I'm gonna also just go through a couple of the cities that I'm playing in now so you can kind of get an idea for what to look for in a server or decide if you want to check out one of these. So let's just jump right in. I have a couple different categories, but first I want to show you to begin with exactly what you need to get into GTA roleplay. Okay, so first things first, GTA roleplay is a PC only situation. So you have to use GTA on PC and you do have to own GTA 5 to do it. So GTA roleplay is through a company, or I don't know, software, I guess, called FiveM, but you have to own GTA and it has to be authenticated. So you have to have it installed on whatever device that you're using FiveM on. So you can purchase GTA absolutely anywhere, to be honest. It doesn't only have to be through Steam. It doesn't have to be through Rockstar. I have had a couple of giveaways on the channel before where I've purchased GTA 5 through other third parties and people were able to use that same GTA 5 to be able to access FiveM. So grab it. It is on Steam. Grab GTA 5. I would honestly just go for the cheapest option possible. Even if you're like waiting for a sale or something, Steam does sales often, but you need to own GTA 5. Once you have GTA 5, go ahead and go to FiveM. So that is where I'm going to pick up and show you guys how to do that right now. Okay, so this is FiveM. So if you go to fivem.net, this is where you can download it. It's free download. So again, the only thing you're paying for is GTA 5. You can download FiveM for free. Once you have it downloaded, it will look like this. So ignore the message all the way at the top. I have Reshade installed, so that just allows me a couple of different like filter effects on my game. So yeah, so this is just like the last place that I logged into. So basically what you have to do is find a server to play in. So once think of a server kind of like a different instance of FiveM or something. Think of it like a city. If you're in Second Life, you're gonna understand. So if you're in Second Life, think of it like a different roleplay city or a different roleplay sim. Second Life we call like spaces, sims, or simulations. But FiveM, you basically have to find a server. A server is owned by another player and they determine all of the different mods that are going to be in that server and what requirements there are to access it, what rules they'll have in place. They're basically FiveM servers. They're separated by type. So you have serious roleplay servers. You can think of things like No Pixel, where things are very realistic. Everything from how you live your day-to-day life to having businesses to what crime looks like to what policing looks like. They're meant to be very serious, and there are lots of different rules to make sure that you're helping keep the environment serious. A lot of them are also what you call whitelisted, which means that they have some sort of barrier between an individual getting into their city. It could be an application process. It could be some sort of like video voice interview type process. Depending on like how serious a server is, it'll vary on what their whitelisting requirements are. But there are also open servers. So you have the very serious, I would say, then you have semi-serious, which is where I usually play, where there may be some whitelisting involved, but overall there are some rules in place to make sure that the role play is realistic for both civilians and like criminals or criminal role play. For me, I like those type of servers. I don't like it to be too serious because I do honestly get a little loosey-goosey sometimes, but I do like a semi-serious server where there are serious rules in play and people are really making a strong effort to make it a role play situation and not just basically GTA Online or not just something where everyone goes around shooting all day. Those type of servers where it's high gang activity, high crime activity, where it's more like a battle royale type situation, those are called 100K or die servers. So that is like the other end of the extreme, that the goal is to just like win battles, win gang wars, things like that. And then you have the serious server and you're going to find servers that are everywhere in between. So it really is about finding something that is aligned with your interests where you just have the most fun. Sometimes a 100K or die server is kind of fun. Before I used to pop into them randomly just to like get my shooting skills up and just be random. A lot of them have a very young audience, so keep that in mind as well. But to find servers, my recommendation is to watch streamers that you enjoy. Check out the Grand Theft Auto 5 category on Twitch and just start to look at what cities people are streaming in. Also on TikTok, I find a lot of my servers through what people are streaming on TikTok. Also, I'm going to try to check out other cities and give you guys like really quick reviews. My long reviews take so much time and effort to do. And again, when I do a long review like that, I'm only looking at cities that I really like, because I'm not going to spend 8+ hours putting together a server review for a city that I don't like. So usually if I'm doing a review, it's because I really, really enjoy the city. So it takes me some time to find those cities that I really, really enjoy and highly recommend. However, I'm going to try to start coming up with like short lists of cities to check out, maybe even some I'm not flying in that I've just heard good things about, and maybe I'll make a character or something. But to find a server, again, check it out, look at YouTube videos, look and see where people are currently streaming. And then the server size is going to depend on you. A lot of servers are in that 40 to 60 players range. I like bigger cities. So I like bigger cities that have at least a capacity of 200 and that get close to that number. But when I started, I was in a city that had like 14 to 15 people. And somehow, depending on the management of the server, that was still a lot of fun. And we still had a lot of things to do. So really it'll depend on what your preference is. I personally like being in smaller when I started, I like to be in smaller semi-serious to serious servers that were like maybe 30, 40 people. It was way more comfortable for me to learn the mechanics, learn the language, learn the best practices, just like figure stuff out, versus these big servers. When they're that big, sometimes you don't get the level of hand holding that you do get in small servers. So while the big servers are fun, there's usually a lot going on. There's always something that can also be overwhelming when you're brand new. So I like the smaller servers. I do recommend you maybe look out for a smaller server, maybe even a new server, because usually in those situations, the owners and the staff are like more willing to work with you and also hear your feedback, see what you're comfortable with. And I feel like you just learn a lot more when it's smaller and you're new. But you can also hit the play button in FiveM, and these are lots of other cities to check out, and it'll tell you. So this first number here is how many people are currently logged in and what their max capacity is. So fantasy, for example, there are 62 people currently playing out of 200, and you can just like go through. There's gonna be no rhyme or reason to this. There are thousands upon thousands of different cities or servers, and you could just click one and fly in. I honestly have done this a couple of times. Like sometimes I see servers listed here and I'm like, yeah, sounds cool. Let me go fly in and make a character. That's also something you can do. For the other cities, usually you have to be in a Discord server. So those cities that you're looking at over on like Twitch and TikTok and things like that, you'll want to find the Discord server for them. It's usually, if you can't find it like just by Google, you can ask the creator. For me personally, what I do is I have a Discord server and I have a channel called where I'm currently playing in GTA, and I always put the Discord link so you can join anywhere that I'm currently checking out or currently playing. And I keep that updated with wherever I'm most active. Even if I'm just checking something out really quickly, I'll add it to that channel. So you can always find Discord links. I also allow different cities to promote their servers in my Discord. We have about 2,300 people in there right now. So if you do own a server and you're newcomer friendly, I would recommend like saying something. A lot of people just drop their links, but say if you're newcomer friendly, if you're serious, if you're semi-serious, anything like that. So if you guys want a place where you can check out more servers, or server owners, if you want to share your servers, feel free to join my Discord. It's linked in my bio. So moving on, what do I want to show you next? I am just going to fly in here really quick. And I'm just going to show you the process of like creating a brand new character. So sometimes the first time you fly into a city, it has to, especially if you're brand new, you've never done this, you have an empty cache. So sometimes it takes a while for different things to load up in the city. Sometimes it'll take a while for your PC to originally download all the assets that they have in their city. I get the question about systems all the time. You cannot play GTA roleplay on console. You have to be on PC only. And I do recommend a pretty strong PC. A lot of people ask me if it'll work on a MacBook. I don't even think it's recommended. I think FiveM has their specifications on their website. So recommended. This is like I don't even know what this shit means. The CPU information. I know the GPU is your graphics card. So you can run it at a 660. I do sometimes run mine on my laptop. People also say desktop versus laptop. I use both. So when I'm streaming, of course, I'm at my desktop. When I'm just chilling out, sometimes I'll do it from my laptop. I just have to make sure that I'm hardwired in with like an Ethernet cord, or it just gets really laggy. So you can do it from your laptop. My laptop specs are linked below. My PC specs will be linked below. These are your minimum requirements. So minimum CPU, Intel Core I don't even know what all this shit means, not gonna lie. I'm just gonna leave it here so you can look at it real quick. But minimum NVIDIA 9800 GT, don't even know what that means, y'all. I don't know what any of this means, but that's what you need. Nowhere does it say anything about a Mac. Windows 10 is your minimum. Windows 11 is recommended. So keep that in mind when you're trying to fly in. Would I buy a whole computer for GTA? If you really feel like you might love it, maybe start with a laptop. PCs I do recommend. My first PC ever that's chilling out behind me, that was a Skytech. I'm gonna also try to find a link for you guys for Sky. I mean, I think I do have an affiliate code for them. So if I can get y'all a discount, I'll look. But I went with the pre-built because I know nothing about PCs. They're a little pricey, yeah. But look at this. What is this? Is this a PC? Windows 11, 18 gigs, 479. A mini PCX. Like, they start at 479 apparently. 900. This looks like a legit I don't know shit about PCs. Honestly, look at the specs. Make sure they have the minimum requirements if you're trying to actually buy a PC for this. Curious about this though. That seems like a good deal. You got 16 gigs of RAM, NVIDIA 3060. This is a decent PC. I don't know how to compare that. I'll ask a computer person. Maybe we'll do a video together with someone who knows shit about like gaming computers. But I do recommend Skytech. I think it's super easy. The PC that I'm using now, so this one I actually got is a custom build from CyberPower. I had someone help me out put that together. So all my specs will be listed below if you want that or something similar. I am going to go back to FiveM really quick. I'm going to show you just how to create a completely new character. Okay, really quickly, I'm on my main character, but I did want to show you just some things that I don't know if I'm going to feel like doing later. So I have my graphics up pretty high. And like I said, I'm using reshade. So reshade is something I'll do a whole different video on how to make this look. But without this, you know, these are just like filters to make it look better if you want to. Without it, this is what the game looks like. To me, that just looks pretty dull, especially comparing it to what we just had. That's the other thing. You're in GTA roleplay. There are other people playing. Everyone else who's playing is another person. So you can run into people in a lot of the roleplay cities, especially because I'm in a semi-serious one. I couldn't just stand here AFK and ignore them. I would have to like go hide my character, put her away somewhere realistic or something because you're expected to be available and interacting. If you hit escape, it's just like GTA. You can see your map here. You can use this to navigate around. Different cities have different maps. This one's based on Chicago, so they also have different things called MLOs. So MLOs are like larger modifications. So they could be whole neighborhoods, they could be building interiors, they could be anything that like kind of changes the city from your base GTA. So they have a bunch of MLOs, which are those different locations, and then they have different, like the map is different. I can show you the other city that I'm in. That map looks very different as well. Some of them have postal codes on them just so you can like communicate different things easier. This one has different businesses. They have a lot, but that's what you get. And you could like scroll through. A lot of people don't know what to do when they first get to a city. I always recommend just like checking out some of the locations and going there and seeing where people hang out. The other thing that you might need on this is your settings. You'll want to go through your graphics. I think I'll do a separate video on graphics. And one thing that people always recommend though, when you first join, the couple of things I'll recommend is this focus game or pause game on focus loss. I turn that off. That means if you open up another tab or tab out for a second, you're not going to hear anything happening in game. So I usually turn that off so I can tab around, and like if someone comes and speaks to me or if my character gets shot, I'll hear it happen and I'll know to tab back in. And you'll also want to increase your extended texture budget to as high as you can with your PC settings. So mine is maxed out, but you'll notice if yours starts to dip into the yellow or red, you need to bring it back down. But you do want your extended texture budget up because it'll help you render the city in the way it's meant to be rendered. Beyond that, your key bindings are probably going to be the only other thing that are relevant. Most cities use push to talk or recommend push to talk. If push to talk means that you have to hit a button for your mic to go on. So that's what I turned on when we just hopped in. If you're on what they call voice activated, anything you say into your mic, the game's going to pick up. It's going to be in the game. So for me, for privacy and also just for streaming, you don't want to be on voice activated all the time because you're going to be talking to your chat and everybody in the game is going to be able to hear you. Okay, so for me, I did come in here first to change my push to talk button. If you go to GTA Online and then go over to push to talk, you can change it. Mine is on my mouse scroller wheel just because I find that easier. My hand's already on my mouse. I can just hold it down when I'm talking and release it when I'm done. I think the default is for N. So your N key is going to be your push to talk. That wasn't convenient for me. Do whatever is most convenient for you. That was the easiest for me. So that's really the only thing, because you want to make sure you're able to talk to people. And then once you are back in your normal settings, you want to go to voice chat and make sure all of this is correct. So make sure it's on, first of all, because you want to be able to hear people. Make sure it's on your proper microphone. I mean, your proper headset, or however I recommend headset. Don't come from GTA without a headset. People do it all the time, and all everyone else hears is themselves talking through your mouth. So have a headset. Make sure it's on the correct headset. You could turn your volume up. I also turn my SFX volume down when voice chat's on. That means all of the sounds in the world. So the wind, the cars honking, the car you might be driving, I turn that down when people are speaking. So when they start to speak, the other noises go down. I keep music volume off. I don't want to hear any music volume. That doesn't stop music that other players are playing. This stops those natural GTA songs, like, you know, like locals might have on cars. You might walk into a building, it's playing GTA music. I turn that off. Microphone, you want to make sure that's enabled and on and set to your correct microphone. Voice chat mode, this is where you change from push to talk or to voice activated. So you see her lips, I don't know if you can quite see it, but her lips are moving. So my sound is being picked up in game. If you go back to push to talk, it's not currently being picked up in game until I press that button. And then of course you can play with all of these. Sometimes if you can't hear people, but it's clear they're talking, just come in here and like toggle this on and off. And that's what people mean when they say reset your voice box. And roleplay, we'll go over roleplay terms, but it's like your voice box. You walk around using WASD. I know that's probably natural for a lot of gamers, but my channel is a lot of people from Second Life who have only ever used Second Life, and we use arrows to walk in Second Life. We use WASD here. Of course, W is forward, A is to the left, R is to, or S is, D is to the right, S is backwards, and then you use your mouse along with that to move around. Spacebar is jump. Running, you can either tap shift and they'll go into like a cute little jog, or you can hold down shift and they'll actually run quickly. You can also use a controller. A lot of cities in roleplay recommend against controllers because a lot of people use those to kind of cheat with shooting, but if it's a city that's not that strict, I always use controller to drive. Well, not anymore. Lately, I've been using mouse and keyboard to drive, but it's the same thing. You know, your little dialogue moves your character. You can tap A if you're using Xbox controller. Well, you gotta hold A down to even jog. And then if you want to run faster, you have to keep clicking it. Jump is X. Punching is B. I don't use these often. I only use it to drive. So you can plug it in. For me, Xbox controllers automatically work in GTA. Other controllers, I don't know. I have a friend who used a PS controller and she had trouble configuring it to even work. So I think naturally on PCs, Xbox controllers just work. So I'd recommend Xbox controller. Oh, let me just show you a couple like game mechanics that I don't know if like GTA uses them. There's a feature in some cities called like your third eye. You'll hear people say use your third eye. This is one of those cities where you might have to like you hold down Alt. So currently I'm holding Alt. You see that little eye pop up? That's what people are talking about when they say use your third eye. So sometimes to shop places or interact with other players or objects, you might have to hold down Alt and then you like just put your mouse over that area and you'll see this pop up. So I'm going to try to have her sit down. She's probably gonna knock this whole table down, to be honest. But that's how she's sitting down. So, and then it's saying like press E to get up. Some cities don't even have that feature. So sometimes when you want to sit in a city, you have to use an emote. So emotes are different ways to animate your character. So using T, if you hit T, that gives you a text box to type in, and to like get to an emote, you would use like a slash and then go to the emote name. You'll notice this like little menu pops up to help you remember. Don't try to remember all this at once. Like you'll get used to it. It took me honestly like months of just being in role play to remember the terms and how to do things. I'm just trying to show you how to like navigate easily. I don't even think you'll necessarily need to know how to sit when you first get logged in, but I'm going to do an emote. So I'm going to do T/E. E is the emote. The emote I'm going for is I want to sit in a chair. And I'm going to do sit chair 3 because it looks girly. So see how it's like kind of off. But some cities, that's how you have to sit. Again, I don't even think you're going to need to sit. But ignore me jumping off this roof. You might have to interact with things using your emote menu. Like here, like if I wanted to cook, I'm going to use, not emote menu, Alt. So I'm holding down Alt, and that's why those options are popping up. Sometimes stores are set up that way. So you have to hold down Alt and look at the cash register. Sometimes it's the bank. Sometimes you can walk up and just hit E. Like if it's an E situation, it'll say it, like it'll make a sound and it'll pop on your screen, like hit E to shop or something like that. But when people say use your third eye, they're just saying, and it's your left Alt. I don't know if right Alt works. Yes, the left Alt on your keyboard. I have the dirtiest keyboard ever. Don't talk about it. It's got makeup all over. I can't even lift it up high enough. What is this button? So anyway, that's third eye. Navigation wise, I don't think I have anything else to show you. I can show you a couple of menus. Most cities, like again, cities are created by individuals who are modifying their server to their own needs and interests. So things may be different, buttons may be different. The way to create your character is going to be different. Clothing options are going to be different. In most cities, one, you need access to your inventory. So a lot of cities, that's just F2. Some cities, it might be tab. If it's neither of those, you might need to go look in key bindings and find it, but you need access to inventory. A lot of cities, you have to keep your character alive. Like you can kind of see next to me. Those are my health stats. So right now she's pretty hungry. So cities have different foods in them. That's why I'm saying you're going to have to probably shop. You could go to a convenience store and grab food. In this case, they have some restaurants in the city. So I grab food there, but all you have to do, like I said, go to F2 and then you'll look to see what's in your inventory. If you're brand new, this is likely going to be empty. You're going to have to go find these items in the city. So look for convenience stores, look for phone stores. But all you have to do is like click on it and then drag it to use, and that'll allow you to use it. I'm going to do the same thing with the drink because she's also thirsty. I have on this one is, hold on, let me show you. On this one, it's giving me a couple of options how to use it. So I can just hit auto use. She's just going to continue to sip it. Some cities, it's automatic. You don't have to do anything else and you just drag it to use and it'll start using it. And then once she finishes this, I'll show you how to use your phone. Most cities, you do not have your phone when you fly in. You're going to have to find a phone store. So usually when I fly into a city, that's the first thing I'm looking for. Well, one, I'm usually looking for a clothing store because I probably still look crazy. Two, I'm looking for a phone store because that's what I want to see, what the like vibe of the city is. I want to be able to go on there, look at Twitter, look at maybe Instagram to see what other people are doing in the city. And then if I run into anyone that might be helpful, they can exchange numbers with me, and that way you can have your initial contact. And then I look for places to get food. Through that process, you're gonna likely start running into characters in the city and introducing yourself as your character. So like get into character mode at that point and just role play out however you want to. So phones usually are like if they're up here, so these first 5 slots, those are your hotkeys. So whatever you have in these, you can press the number like on the left side of your keyboard, not the number pad, but on the left side of your keyboard and pull all of those out. So for example, I had a big old gun in 2. So if I hit 2 right now, she's gonna pull her weapon out. If I wanted to shoot it, I would use my right click. I'm not going to do it right now because this is a city that does have police and they will show up for a gunshot. And to aim it, I just hold down, no, I hold down my right click. To shoot, I would left click. But you can also do that on controller. I don't know how to shoot on controller, to be honest. So I just use mouse and keyboard. Some cities have a crosshair like on the screen when you aim. Some cities don't allow crosshairs. So again, you'll just have to like check the rules and whatever specific to that city. But I usually put my phone in the 1 so I can easily pull it out. I also have it tabbed, or I have it set to tab. No, I don't. I have it set to that thing, that little squiggly thing above tab, and you can also pull it out that way. Most of these are an iPhone, so they look legit like an iPhone. Hold on, let me fix this again. All right, but they look just like an iPhone. A lot of cities have Twitter. They might call it Birdie or Twatter. I don't know, different thing. Girl, she was naked. But this is also how you can check the vibe of the city, see where people hang out. This one, no one really posts actively on Twitter except for just posting pictures. So sometimes if there's parties going on, they'll have them here. A lot of times it'll just be the Discord, so you have to kind of look in the event section. I use Twitter the most. You can also use the wallet to transfer money to people if you need to. Like you can hit send. Think of this like Cash App, or people call it Cash App in game. You can also say it's more like Apple Pay. So if you go to your text messages, there's like the little money thing and you can send any amount of money to people. They can also send it to you. So sometimes, especially if you're new, people are probably going to offer to send you money. But you can do everything you can do on an iPhone. You can take pictures, you can take selfies. It's got a little tutorial up there showing you how to work your camera. So, you know, you can play around with different things. For me, I'll do a whole different video on taking pictures, to be honest. This is something else. But yeah, that's your phone. I mentioned emotes earlier. A lot of cities, the emote menu is F3. This city, it's F5. But this is where I found that like sit chair 3, that would be in here. You don't have to memorize these things. You could just go through this and see what these different poses are or what the animations are. And hitting X would cancel the animation, but you could just literally, I'm just hitting enter on all of these and, you know, you could just do whatever. So these are sit chairs. So this is if there's like a chair. Yeah, that's why she's floating. You would sit in that. If you wanted to just sit on the ground. Oh, I didn't know that was here. That's cute. I've never used that. I've never seen any of these. I've never been through this menu. And again, different cities, different menus. So always everything's going to be different. Sit 4 Like these ones, these normal sits are ground sits. So if I was like over on the beach and I want to sit, if I want to sit here and cry, those are options. They also have dance emotes, so you can go on these. There's different dances that you can do. If you want to memorize these so you can quickly like access them, do you see at the bottom where it says /E arm wave? So that's what you would type in if you wanted to do the T. So if I hit T/E arm wave, I could also do it that way and hit X to stop. You can keybind. I feel like that's another video that we don't need to get into right now, but you can also do shared emotes. So if you wanted to like hug the person you're next to, you can go into share emotes. It'll send them a request to do the animation and you'll be like hugging. So that's emotes. A lot of cities also have job menus. It's going to be different every city. In this city, it's F6, so I can switch between different jobs. That's another thing to think about when you first get into the city, like how you're going to make money. Because if you don't have any money, you can't buy food, you're going to starve to death, you're going to die, you'll probably end up with hospital bills. Like sometimes the shit gets like very realistic. So having a job is good. A lot of cities have unemployment, so you should be getting what they call a welfare check every couple of minutes. I think it's like every 15 or 30 minutes, depending on the city. But most cities have a job center where you can go find a job and do like really quick, they call them NPC jobs, where you can go pick up trash or go clean houses or do something. A lot of people do crime. A lot of people sell drugs, rob people, do that kind of thing because, you know, it is GTA after all. But it really depends on the city and what type of lifestyle you want in the city. You don't have to have a life of crime. You could be a lawyer, you could be a judge, a professor. A lot of schools have schools. You could be a teacher. What is my character usually? I usually work at our own restaurant. Sometimes I'm a bartender. She does get in the crime life, so it varies. That is all I think you need to know right now. The other thing is the F8 menu. So F8 here, when on your first time flying in, it may prompt you to like hit F8 to accept animation options or something. So you hit F8, sometimes a like dialogue box pops up in the right corner. You have to hit accept. This is also where you can like quit. If things get laggy, sometimes it's helpful to clear this. So sometimes you could just type clear in there. This is also where you come keybind, but we'll do that another time. But you could type quit in to exit out of the game, or you could do quit up here. I usually do it this way. I'm going to show you one more thing with F8 that I forgot to show you originally, but F8 is usually how you get into a server if you have a connect code. So you would do F8 from this home menu, and then you would go over to launch and then MP. If they have a connect code, you would put that connect code in right here, and then you would go to connect to host above, and that'll also bring you in the city. So I'm going to do it that way just for this one time. You just have to remember, once this is up, you can't do anything because this F8 menu is in your way. So you have to hit F8 again to get rid of that. And if there was a prompt that you had to switch versions or anything that popped up, you could then click on that. But let's get back into the city, and I'm gonna go ahead and create a character. Okay, so I'm back in. I'm gonna do another character slot. Hopefully this doesn't mess anything up with my character. I've never tried to create a second character. Some cities allow it, some don't, but they call different characters souls. So I'm gonna get a little bit into some of the language as I do this. But remember, when you're registering, this is your character's name. This is not your name. So I'm gonna go with Akira Fox. I always go with Akira Fox. It's like another Second Life person that I knew, so I always take theirs. I'm gonna do my same birthday because I'm not gonna remember a different birthday, to be honest. So I'm gonna do October 29th. We'll make her younger. I think my main character is a little, I mean, we'll make her older. My main character's younger. And then nationality, who cares? We're just gonna say we're American. And female. What you select here doesn't necessarily mean the character that you're gonna get. You're probably gonna get a fucked up character like this. I don't know this is. This might be a man or not. The first thing you want to hit is ped if you're trying to change the gender. This is a male character. If you want to go to the female character, you're gonna have to just switch. Some cities have a full list of different peds. Usually the male and female are at the top, but sometimes you might have to click through to find it. I know she doesn't look like a female character, but this is a female character. Let's look at some of these buttons first before we go into all of the menu options. This little camera thing, this is the camera angle that you are at. So if you hit the face, you're gonna be closer to her face. Hit face again, it zooms you out. Hit this body thing, it like zooms you in on a part of the body. Hit it again, zooms you out. This one's gonna be the same, but for the feet. Hit that again, it'll zoom you out. These options I never use when I'm in this menu. This is just gonna take articles of clothing off, but it doesn't, like, you still wanna go through all of the options because you could still fly into the city and have those things on and start looking crazy. Like I could hit this t-shirt and maybe it'll take off whatever the t-shirt is here, but then you fly in, you look crazy. This is a rotate, so this will turn your character around so you can see what they're looking like from the back. This is gonna rotate your camera to the left and click it again. It'll come back, same for the right, and then come again, and then save. This will save and get rid of this menu for you. Usually Some cities are hard to get back to your create a character menu because this is what's considered plastic surgery. Some cities don't allow you to go back to plastic surgery because they don't think it's realistic. You know, you create your face, that's what you look like. End of the day, end of the story. Some cities, you create your face, that's what you look like, but you can go to the hospital and have surgery to change it up. So you might be able to get back to this. And then some cities, it's like in all the barbershops, or it might be anywhere. If you do truly mess up, most cities, they allow you to submit a ticket in their Discord or a report in game to say like, hey, I'm brand new. I was trying to create my character. I crashed or something happened. I need a menu back. So sometimes it's that. So, okay, beyond the model, the next thing we're going to look at is inheritance. So this is how you start to actually build your character. I'm going to try to do this without, I know my camera is going to start blocking at some point, so I might have to shift everything over, but your inheritance. So these are your different facial features. Really quickly before I get into this, I'm going to remove her hair from the head because for me, this is just really distracting. She's not cute. So now your inheritance menu and all of the features they have are going to change city to city. While you're going to see the numbers that I put in here, that doesn't mean that these are in the city that you go into. But sometimes, generally speaking, a lot of the basics are the same. But do you see how I have the face? I have a father and mother, the skin, a father and mother, and that's it. Some other cities have additional categories here, so you can even further customize your character, but depending on what options they've uploaded into the server. Now, cities or server owners, they have to purchase all these different packs to make like different skins available. Some of them honestly save money and just have the basics in here, like the basics that you would see in GTA. A lot of cities, especially ones that they're trying to attract women to their city, usually have some good customization options here. I hope, you know, hopefully over my next few videos, as I'm like just showing different servers off, you'll be able to see the differences, and I can recommend some cities with good ones. Now, what you can do first is you can go through all of these. These are the father faces. You can see what you like, what you don't, and then you can start playing with the mother faces. Now, just remember when you start playing with the mother faces, like I'm clicking through, nothing's changing, you need to change your mix up a little bit. So for me, a safe place usually is to start on a mix of like 0.5. So it's like half mother, half father. To be honest, the mother makes you uglier. I don't know why, but sometimes it can make your face uglier, but you'll see like different features are changing. For me personally, I like some big lips on my character. So usually I start off by going into face features and just making her lips as large as possible. So I'm going to increase this lip thickness, which it goes to the left to increase, and then I go back up. But your face features, if you're a Second Life player, this is you love this area. You can change small details of your nose, your eyebrows, your cheek, your eyes and mouth, your chin, and your neck. So in addition to doing all these different inheritance things, you can do that. I tend to create the same character over and over because usually the overall skeleton of your face is the same city to city. Usually it's in the skin where things get different. So if you can like fall on something here that you think is kind of cute, you could potentially create that character in multiple cities. I know a lot of people use 21 to create like a cute girl. So maybe we'll start with 21. I'm going to keep it on 0.5 and let's just see what we can find for the mother to make this kind of cute. I think I might have used this in another video, so I don't know if I should use the same one, but let's just start here. And as I do more videos, we'll change it up some. I think 35 might be kind of cute. It just had the biggest lips. I honestly always look for the biggest lips. 45 is standard. You're going to notice I think you'll start to see, like you will see 45 in people. Like that is just the one that makes the prettiest girl character. A lot of people do that first one, father at 45, and change the mother up. Like, look, if I switched it up, so if I did 45 here and 21 here, or that was 12, and 21 here, it kind of has that same thing because I'm on a mix of 0.5. So you could do either way. I'm going to leave father at 21 and mother at 45. And see, the more I go to the right, that's more of the 45. To the left is strictly 21. So you could play around with like where you want it to go. I'm going to put it on 0.7 because I think 45 is just a prettier option. But these, the mother and father up here, this is going to be pretty similar in most cities. So I'll try to do a couple of different variations of things that come out kind of cute, but it's going to just really, the skin is going to change things up based on the city. So again, here, I'm going to find a skin that I kind of like. A lot of cities have what they call whitelisted skins. So these are skins that people pay to have created, and then they also pay the city to have them imported. So a lot of times you'll have to go through a city's Discord and look at their whitelisted items and look for the skins and make sure you're avoiding using them. A lot of times it's pretty obvious. This one is very obviously a whitelisted skin and has like baby hairs on it. It looks like a sim. So that's whitelisted. That's whitelisted. This is a standard skin. You can still create cute characters with standard skins. I'm currently not paying for my skin in the city that I'm in. I feel like I do enough for these cities. I ain't got paid. I am paying for stuff. But that looks like a standard one. This is a whitelisted one. Looks like a standard whitelisted. Sometimes these whitelisted ones look crazy. This one, it was almost easy to miss, but whitelisted. A lot of cities have more whitelisted than normal. I find that very frustrating when you're trying to just create a character. You're not trying to invest a bunch of money into a city. Because for me, I like to get a good feel for the city before I start dishing out money to them. This one also costs money to get in. That's another thing. Some cities are going to cost money to get in, some won't. But this one, you pay to get whitelisted. So get your application reviewed, which sometimes has benefits because then sometimes you avoid like trolls and stuff. I honestly might do a mix here. So I'm gonna increase this and let's just try to find the cutest face as possible. I think it's this one, but her eyebrows look crazy. So I'm gonna go with this one maybe, or is that the same? Yeah, and then when there's whitelisted skins, they don't even like you to mix those skins with anything else, but you see how minimal, like how few normal skins they have in the city. For me, I find that very frustrating. I would play with her facial features. For me, I don't change all that much about like bone structure, but I will very likely like bring her eyes down a little because I think they look crazy, and I'm going to put lashes on her, so I'm not even gonna worry about that right now. Next thing is appearance. Hair comes up first. I usually skip hair. I do sometimes add blemishes, so those are usually like your face markings and moles. There are also some like scars in here. Be aware of what you're throwing on your face. Oh, I don't usually do blemishes. Never mind. I don't usually do those. Those are actual like acne scars and stuff. Beard, sometimes for girls, we have hair bases in here. So sometimes it's worth it to go through and find like different little baby hairs and stuff. And when they're in here, you can change their color. You can't really see the color change on that. I'm just gonna leave it on black. And then for eyebrows, we're gonna turn these eyebrows on. Even though she had eyebrows, sometimes it'll look doubled up, but sometimes it'll look fine. But I like these ones. They're a little thicker. Oh, you can't get too much closer. But I like these ones better. Aging, I don't usually touch. I'm a makeup girl, so my character is always gonna have makeup. For some cities, you have two categories. I prefer the cities that have like the makeup and then they have color and then they have another color because that means you can change your shadow and some of the face makeup. I usually put on a crazy color so I can see exactly where it's applying. Like here, these are all shadows, but you see how this one, so if this had two blocks for makeup, you could change that eyeliner color and then your highlight color could be something different. Like this just brightens her up a little bit, and then you could change with like your opacity slider. So I have it up. It's giving her a little bit more of a highlight. You could also put blush on. I usually like, I'm gonna put a green just so we can see where it is. I usually like this one because it looks like contour to me and there's contour on her nose, but you could put on like whatever blush that you liked and then it goes into different face tattoos. But I'm gonna go to the one that says like, that looks like a contour, and I'm gonna do like a brownish red. I honestly have never made a character this complexion. It's kind of cute, but I haven't, and it's hard. So when the light starts to set, you have no more light. Damn, I shouldn't move my camera. I feel like light's already starting to set, or the sun's already starting to set. But you can like play. I wouldn't have blush turned all the way up. You might look a little crazy. There's also a complexion option. I don't know if this is gonna look good on a darker skin tone, but there is this like complexion 10 that brightens up your face a little bit. For me, it looks like makeup most of the time, but I don't want it to make her look ashy, so we'll see. I'm not going to touch sun damage. I do usually put lipstick on. There are different options. I usually like the one that looks like lip liner, and that's it. That's just a personal preference. You can go through lipsticks and find the ones that you like, but I wear my lipstick like this in real life a lot, so I put it there. Moles and freckles is what I was looking for earlier. There are a bunch of cute different freckle options. I think I actually might put freckles on her instead of the moles. Usually I go with the moles. Let's just do a little freckle. I'm going to turn this down a little bit so they're not super bold like that. Chest hair, I'm going to ignore. Sometimes you might find hair bases and texture or baby hairs and chest hair. So that's something you might want to look through. Of course, for men, it's an option. Body blemishes, you can't even see them right now, but that would be body moles. And then of course you can change your eye color. All cities are going to have a different eye pack, so it really will depend on the city. Clothing, I honestly don't like doing clothing in this menu because I get nervous that I'm going to run out of time here. The server is going to restart, something will happen. So I try to get through this menu as fast as I can, just because some cities, like I said, it's harder to get back to. I'm going to throw on her lashes right now. Usually in city, lashes are in masks, decals, or body armor. See, the city restarting in 30 minutes. I usually float between the two because sometimes I want to wear a mask or I want to wear something in mask. Like sometimes you'll find facial jewelry or anything like that. I'm just going to go put on the lashes once I find them. I'm using the arrows. So you use arrows to click through. You could also use like your up or down keys to go through. I used to make the mistake of trying to use right or left, but it's up or down. Let's see, let's see. There they are. So there are a couple of different lashes. There are these ones, and these are most of these. I don't like these. Don't like those. If you're a server that only has those, get better lashes. These ones are kind of cute. I am going to change just some basic things on her and put her in something really basic. I'll probably leave her in this hoodie. You'll notice the hands. So hands change your body underneath your clothing. So yeah. These panties are actually in, I didn't mean to change shoes. These panties are actually in shirt. So sometimes you're gonna have to like click through all of these to make sure you're removing anything that you don't want on your character. There is a specific shirt number that takes stuff off completely, but you'll find shorts in here. Sometimes you'll find skirts. See, this shirt option just gave her a little watch, so I'm just gonna leave that on her for now. You can change the legs to wear different pants. I'm gonna honestly throw her just in these basic jeans. And then I'm gonna put a different jacket on her. Jacket is actually like the shirt part that she has on. Again, I would leave her in something super basic just so I could get out of this menu, and the sun is starting to set, so it's hard to see anyway. A lot of times you would just have to stand there and wait for the sun to come back up to get more lighting. I'm gonna put her in just some random hairstyle so we can just get into the city. We'll do this one. Yeah, also nails. Nails are usually in decals, bags, or body armor sometimes too. This doesn't quite fit. It doesn't fit at all, girl. Sometimes I legit don't care and I will run around the city looking crazy to find a clothing store because I don't feel like getting caught up in this. Let's put her in the low Gucci top. So the first column also is like the item, and the second column is usually the texture or the color. So you could change different colors. I'm gonna put her in black shoes. I feel like she looks good enough. I'm gonna hit save on her and we'll just see what she looks like in game. So it came here, it actually gave me a couple of items. You notice it gave me an ID card, water, and bread. I usually move everything out of my hotkeys. I honestly usually move my ID to the bottom just in case I get robbed. Sometimes people forget to scroll down, but at least you have a couple bread loaves and some water so you don't die, but you don't have a phone yet. If you hit V, it'll change your camera angle. I actually think she's cute. She did just come out looking like how I usually look, but I think she's kind of cute. But yeah, hitting V brings the camera out again, first person, and you click it to go back to normal. It has all the same commands as it does normally. Like Q would usually be to, I forget what it is, when you're like against the wall, so you're like kind of hiding. I don't know. Crouch is control, left control. And I think that's it. I can't think of any other things that you'll need immediately. You know how to walk, you know how to run. Sometimes I change my walk up. You can find that in the emote menu. Sometimes I like to change my walk. I do walk heels a lot because it looks like, you know, a little sassy. I actually think she came out cute. I wish it was brighter out so we could see her face. She just looks like a more brown skin mayhem, which I'm into. So that's creating a character. I'm gonna hit F8 and quit, and I'm actually gonna go back to that main menu to see if I can see her again. Okay, also while I do this, I'm gonna multitask a little bit. So I currently play actively in 2 cities. One is called The Real Shy and one is called Boomin'. I actually got an announcement today. I don't know if they've announced it quite yet, but Boomin' recently went to a new version of their city that completely changed everything and how you do it, what's available. It was completely updated, but they have recently decided to go back to their previous version, which was my preferred version. I thought they had a lot of really cool stuff. I thought the roleplay was really good. I thought the business options they had were good, but they completely updated the city. So I'm really excited to check that out. I haven't checked it out yet, but I plan to do a stream in there soon. But both of the cities, they're similar but kind of different. They're both pretty large cities that average around 100 players. I think The Real Shy as of late has been averaging a little more, like around 150. Boomin' currently is free to get into. The Real Shy is, I think, a $20 whitelisting fee. All right, good. Both of our characters are here. So you would just select one of these and then hit play. Oh, look at her. She's kind of cute. I think I would customize more. I couldn't see her eye color really. I think I would shape her jaw up a little bit to make her even cuter, but we could do another video creating a character. This is not that right now. I'm going to stick to my main character who I love her face. She's in a basic skin. She's not even in a whitelist skin, but I think she's very pretty. Yeah. Yeah, you could also delete a character if you wanted to. I'm always so afraid of that button, so I leave it alone. But yeah, The Real Shy, like I said, I do like it here. I'll show you Boomin' too. But in terms of, I guess we could start with, well, I said The Real Shy is like 20 bucks for a whitelisting, or you could do women's whitelisting where it's free. You don't have to pay anything, but they do have to do like a verification to prove you're a woman. So they ask you to go on camera. So you call in, you go on camera with an admin. they approve it and then they move on. Some cities do that. I've been in a couple of cities where I've had to verify that way, but you know, that's up to you if you want to do it or if you just want to go ahead and pay for the whitelisting, which I said I think is 20 bucks. Roleplay quality, The Real Shy is newer than Boomin, but they are making a lot of efforts to make this a more serious roleplay server. So they require you to do things like /me and /do, which I will explain in another video. It's just another roleplay function where you go beyond just voice roleplay and you actually explain some of your actions, especially in like combat scenes. So usually that's what it's for, so people don't treat it like one of those battle royale type cities where they're just shooting everyone up, but they force you to initiate some sort of roleplay through your actions. So they have those. We'll have to talk about that another time. Girl, this video is already getting long. I do think The Real Shy, in terms of roleplay, I actually think it feels more serious than Boomin right now. But like I said, Boomin switched servers. They had a bit of, there's someone around me. Boomin had a little bit of like a change curve, I would say, where people were trying to get adjusted to the new features in the city. And I do think it got very heavy on gangs. For a while, it was hard for me in that city to find my roleplay, but in their earlier version, I had great roleplay there. They have a lot of businesses available. I actually own a business there. They both have options if you want to do civilian roleplay, so not get into gang life, or if you want to be heavily in the crime life. Both have very, I think, organized ways or organized gangs. So yeah, check them both out. It's a matter of preference. They're very similar. I play in both of them and I feel like I can swap to both and keep the same storyline. Boomin is based in LA. It's an LA map. I'll show you it in a second. The Real Shy is Chicago. It's a Chicago-based map. And for my storyline, I just say that my character flies back and forth between Chicago and Boomin. She has a boyfriend here in Chicago that she met here. She wants to get him to visit. They haven't gone there yet. In terms of like characters, of course, I do think you can create a cute character here. Without a doubt, hands down, Boomin has a better clothing pack, better character creator, better hairstyle. So if you're a girl who likes to be super cute, you're gonna achieve that easier in Boomin. You do have some options here, but it is not as diverse. It's not as, I don't know, one day, if I do a full server review, I think I might do one comparing both of these. Their clothes are cute. They're not as basic as some cities. Some cities really are just basic and then have no diverse body types. Like you can tell we call this the BBL clothing when they have more than a flat butt. Because y'all know the flat square butts that GTA likes to give. A lot of servers only have those. I personally only play in cities that have some curves. And I just prefer this look. If you look at my Second Life videos, you know I prefer a curvy character. They have the options here. They don't have as many as Boomin and they don't have as many bodies as Boomin has. So Boomin's wardrobe to me, 10 out of 10. Well, yeah, I would say 10 out of 10 to be honest. Honestly, the only thing Boomin could get better on is giving us more heals. This city has more heals. In terms of server quality, I think this one, it gets laggy sometimes because actually I can drive over and show you really quickly. They are Chicago. So they have all of these MLOs, like I mentioned, that completely change the city. And what can happen if you have a lot of MLOs or big MLOs, you can get laggy around them. Like I'm operating at a pretty decent PC. My specs are pretty insane and even I lag a lot over there. And unfortunately, the thing that happens if you do lag, you end up, what was I gonna say? If you lag a lot, sometimes that lags your stream out. Let's drive this really quick. I'm really just trying not to be seen because my character has a boyfriend and you know how boyfriends get when you up in the city and, you know, tell them you're around. I saw someone in my comments say that they're not able to drive. Like I said, controller. I'm using controller. I can also do keyboard. Like I can switch to keyboard really quickly so you can see. Oh shit, girl. Woo! It's the same. W is forward, you know, A and D left and right, S is to stop or reverse, and then you use your mouse to move around. I'm also a mechanic in the city, so I have a couple different jobs. I work at a bar, I'm a mechanic, and I sell drugs. And sometimes handbags, like cities have like little Birkin bags. I do want to do a video on, because people ask me all the time like what they should do with their city to attract more women to it. I have some thoughts and opinions on that, child, because sometimes they miss the mark. They put a bunch of pink shit in here and think that'll do. This is completely different than Los Santos. If you played GTA, you know, this is not what this neighborhood looks like. Oh God. This is where most gang activity in this city happens. So I'm really just trying to go through here really quick and get the fuck out. But you'll see like all these are different. Doesn't look like this in any in normal GTA. But because of that, it can be a little laggy over here sometimes, especially when the city's full. But overall, the city performs pretty well. I would say the same for Boomin. I think their newer version was way more laggy for me than their normal, like they call it V2. V2 was the one that they were on before, but their new version had just way more things in it and it made it such a laggy experience for me. I could barely get it loaded sometimes. But anyway, there are barbershops here. Here you can change your character at the barbershop. So Child, he's dead on the ground. He probably needs help. I ain't helping. I'm out of here. I'm just gonna go over here, park my car, and fly out, and then I'll show you Boomin really quick. And they're both about the same size. One thing I can say, this city doesn't do a lot of events. Boomin does so many events, and I think there are positives and negatives to both. So Boomin does so many events, and they put them in the announcements in the sky. So naturally, people get really used to just looking at announcements for anything. They're not necessarily looking at role play. So if you have a business or you're trying to throw your own event, a lot of times you have to go through the server's Discord to get it announced or promoted, because people just have been trained to not look at Twitter for those type of things. Whereas I feel like in the real shy, people look at Twitter to see what's going on in the city. So it's easier to just like do something fun out of the blue and people are going to show up. But the events are few and far between, which on the one hand I like, because it allows, like, they're not server events, so they're not created by server admins. So if something is going on, it is roleplay focused. It might be a house party, it might be something like fancy or whatever, it might be a bar opening or a party, but you go to these things and people are actually communicating with each other. This is in the real shy, and they're like progressing their stories along. It feels like role play. Whereas I do feel like in Boomin, they throw a lot of these like one-off events. Like there's a random, let's go to the camp, and it's not necessarily a role play thing. It's just like everyone's at the camp doing, I don't know, like a hunt or something. Chat, why can't I think of a single event they've done? But they're not necessarily role play. They're like these, let's play laser tag, let's do XYZ. And they happen often throughout the day. They're like sometimes twice an hour. A lot of the times when you go to them, it's not necessarily, like, it feels like it takes you out of active role play and it's just giving you something fun to do, which is a cool thing, because that way you can meet more people. But I feel like immediately you could tell the style, the clothing style is so much better here. The hairstyles are better. Like I said, I was lagging a bunch here. This is still the V4. So this is the one I said was very laggy for me, but they are going back to V2 apparently later today. So I guess I can give you an update on that. I just like these clothes better. I like the body better. This is a different body that they actually don't have this body in the real shy. So I prefer this one. It's a little curvier, but the thighs match. The real shy has a curvy one, but the thighs are so skinny. I like this one way more. Let me see if I have different outfits. Both of them have this thing called outfit bag, so you can do T/OB and you have a list of different save outfits. I'm gonna put on these shorts. These shorts in the city are also my favorite that they don't have over in the real shy. I made the recommendation. That's all I could do. Like, girl, I'm gonna do the same walk, heels. Like, shut up. And then to get a car, like right now I'm stranded. This city does have locals. You notice in the other one, so locals are the non-playable characters around the city. So those just NPCs driving these random cars. You could potentially like steal one of these if you were truly stranded. You don't have that option in the real shy. There are no locals. They're not walking around. They're not in cars. They only show up if you're like selling drugs, and they'll be like running all over the place, but it's like the same 4 locals over and over. The city has locals. I do like cities with locals because I think they're funny. They're always having random conversations. Sometimes I get run over by them. And of course, if I'm truly stranded, I can steal one of these, even though that comes with repercussions, because sometimes, like I said, I'm in semi-serious roleplay servers, so I could get arrested for stealing a car. I have been before. But another option, if you own vehicles, then you can always go to your valet in your phone. It says garage, but these are all the cars that you own, and then you would just call one to come to you. In the real shy, they have that option, but they also have this like V park option. I prefer this body in cities. If the real shy had this, I probably would always be in there, because they also just have so many better clothing options. If you're a clothing girl, Boomin, I'd recommend, and City of Atlanta also has very cute clothes and the same exact body. I don't know about TPLA because I haven't been there. So the Palms LA, I haven't been in there in a while. In terms of clothes, yes, ma'am. But yeah, for me, I'm just gonna like bring up servers as I play them. I play in these two. There's also another city called True Story that I played in a lot. The issue I had with True Story was a lot of times as a woman, you are wildly outnumbered in these cities. And sometimes when they have a very young like player base, that just turns into borderline full-blown harassment. So for me, I was heavily harassed in True Story and I didn't enjoy it there, so I left. But I did like some of the features for True Story, so I might give it another try and check it out. I have friends that play there that have a good time, so maybe I was just having bad luck, but who knows. That was way too much for me. I also have played in the city called the Palms LA. I used to play there often, and they changed their clothing pack and took out all the clothes I like, so I didn't go back in. But apparently since then they've updated again. I just haven't been in again to check it out. There's another city called City of Atlanta that seems to be pretty popular, especially on TikTok and stuff. So that's one to check out. I'll link a few of the others that I play in Anyway, that is all I have for you right now. I know this was a very speedy tutorial. I did cover a whole lot, and there are other videos that I want to do covering parts of this, but I figured this would be a lot of information to help get you started. I said I was going to talk about language and I forgot to, but there are a couple like language things you say, because in game you don't want to say anything, especially in roleplay, there are some terms like you don't want to refer to real life, because in roleplay that's meant to be real life. So you wouldn't say, oh, I'm lagging, or I have to log out, or I have to restart. There are different terms for all of those. A lot of cities have like their own channel that has all these, but they're pretty standard. Like if you were to start lagging, a lot of people would say my head hurts, or my head is hurting over here, depending on like the slang of the term or the city. Some people are like, oh, my head's busting over here, like anything like that. If you do have to log out of the city, people call it flying out. Even when you're going in between cities, it's flying in or flying out. Like when you just land in a city, you just flew in for the first time, or I'm gonna be flying in at noon, or I'm flying out right now, I'm gonna fly back in tomorrow at some time. Like you say flying out to log in. If you need to do a quick restart, people say that's like head popping. So I'm gonna pop my head really quick, I'll be right back, popping my head. Don't know where that came from or how that's relevant, but who knows. Some cities that you see, like the city has a max capacity of 200. If there were 200 people in, there would be a queue, and you would have to wait in queue. And depending on how the city does priority, sometimes you can purchase priority so you can go higher up in the line, or you get it through things like streaming, being a woman, different things. And sometimes if you have like, depending on how long that queue is, people call the queue a train. So they'll be like, yeah, the train ride, the train ride was long, or there was a long train in. If you're trying to say you have high priority, you'd be like, I have a good ticket, or I have a high, or I think just a good ticket, and that'll get you on the train faster. Or have a bad ticket if you have no priority. People call NPCs, so you wouldn't say NPC, you would say local, or PEDs, I have heard them called, like pedestrians. I say local a lot. When there's going to be a server restart, people call that a storm or a tsunami in your head. So if you have to go AFK, people call that like in your head, like I'm in my head for a couple of minutes, or I'm daydreaming. And like, if depending on the severity of the server, don't just randomly go AFK anywhere. Like I said, you want to be like out of sight. Usually I leave my character in the bathroom and then I go AFK in my head. So just keep your character out of sight, because if you run into a situation where you're about to get robbed or something happens and you're not complying, you could potentially like be banned from a city. So make sure, depending on the severity of your city, of course. If you say my head popped, that means like you crashed. There's a whole long list of terms. But like I said, don't stress out trying to memorize everything at once. That's why I do recommend, if you're brand new, to start in a smaller city. What I did notice in the real shy, if you fuck around and say the wrong term in this city, they like get so dramatic about it. Not necessarily like the admins, a lot of times they'll be pretty gracious. Other players, like one dude, I forgot, one time I said something, I don't know what I said. It was something a little out of character. It wasn't the right term. And he was like, oh my God, what are you talking about? He was like, shut up, I have my eyes on, blah, blah, blah. When people say they have the eyes on, that means they're streaming. That man's streaming to 6 people. I was like, I think your 6 people are okay with me saying I just crashed. Like, you're gonna be okay. Some people take it very serious. Like, again, you'll run across all different types of personalities of a GTA child. But yeah, sometimes smaller cities are more gracious in that regard. And it's like easier to learn, because people are also usually more helpful. They're available more, because they're not managing 200 people that are probably submitting tickets every 2 seconds. So if you're brand new, I would recommend a smaller city, like 64 capacity or less. And even sometimes those ones that only have a few people in them, it's a good start. It's a good start for you to run around, learn buttons, break things, whatever you have to do. I think that's all I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful. Again, I'll try to make more videos about GTA. I do a lot of GTA streams. If you want to come check out a live GTA stream, I'm Tuesdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. PST over on Twitch. And then periodically throughout the week, I go live as well. And then I do upload my videos here, kind of unedited. There's the full streams over on YouTube. So look out for those if you want to catch it live. And if you want more tutorials on how to play GTA, more places that you want to check out, let me know. Ask me anything in the comments. A lot of times your questions prompt me to create new videos. So please, please, please feel free to comment anything you need help with in GTA, or anything that you'd like to see. And I really appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to follow me over on, TikTok and Twitch. That's where I go live. And then if you enjoyed this video or videos like this, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing, por favor. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. En una buena noche tú y yo andamos. Cuando no quiero estar solita nos juntamos. Ajá, es que dejo
probar lo que quieras. Solo por una noche, lo que sea. Real black, baby, promise you can never play us. You already know I'm down, lo que sea, so down, lo que sea. Vamos a ver qué vamos a hacer.